Namaste.
Namaste.
I'm your host Deepika, and today's conversation focuses on one of India's most ambitious and impactful infrastructure project. Today, we explore one of India's most iconic pieces of road infrastructure, the Mumbai Pune Expressway. Built at the turn of the millennium, this engineering marvel changed how India thought about high speed roads, public finance, and risk taking in infrastructure. Long before India had expressways, codes, viability gap funding, or PPP playbooks. Maharashtra took a long, bold leap. Let us unpack how this road was born, how it survived, and what it teaches us today. To help us understand the vision, complexity, and long term significance of the Mumbai Pune Expressway, we are joined by Dr. Naresh Bana, a distinguished expert whose insights into large scale infrastructure and strategic project execution offer a rare behind the scene perspective. Dr. Bana, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Talking about historical significance, sir, could you begin by explaining what the Mumbai Pune Expressway represents and why it holds such an important place in India's infrastructure history?
Deepika ji, thank you. See, this expressway is not just concrete and asphalt. It's a case study in policy, finance, engineering, and political courage, all put together. The Mumbai Pune Expressway is a 95-kilometer, 6-lane, access controlled highway linking India's financial capital, Mumbai, with its most important industrial and IT hub, Pune. It was opened for traffic in 2002 and built entirely by Maharashtra State Road Development Corporation at a time when India had no expressway standards. Yes, the Indian Road Congress published the standards in 2013, and also there was no PPP framework and no toll road benchmarks to follow. Before this road, Indian highways were basically widened state roads. This was the first time India built something comparable to European or Japanese expressways, with interchanges, tunnels, crash barriers, grade separation, and full tolling. It cut the travel time from 5 hours to about 2.5 hours, almost 50% reduction in time for travel from Mumbai to Pune and vice versa. That alone transformed Pune's IT industry, Mumbai's logistics, and weekend tourism across western Ghats of Maharashtra. It became the blueprint for every expressway that came later, whether it was Yamuna Expressway or other expressways around the country. Built between 1998 and 2002, this expressway was built in extremely difficult terrain and it involves 6 tunnels, over 50 major bridges, and deep cuttings through the Western Ghats.
Thank you, sir. That really captures why Mumbai Pune Expressway stands as a defining milestone in India's infrastructure journey. Moving ahead, how was this expressway planned, financed, and implemented by MSRDC in the late 1990s, especially in the absence of today's institutional frameworks?
That's a great question. See, in the late 1990s, India had no model PPP concession agreement, no provision of viability gap funding, and no expressway program for that matter, and no traffic forecasting benchmarks. Yet, Maharashtra faced an urgent problem. Mumbai and Pune were choking, and the NH4 was dangerous, congested, and unreliable. At that time, Maharashtra had Honorable Nitin Gadkari as the Public Works Department Minister, serving in then Shiv Sena BJP government until 1999. And that is during his tenure, he oversaw major projects, planning and construction like Mumbai Pune Expressway and numerous flyovers. It was then that MSRDC took a bold institutional decision that it would borrow from domestic markets, raise bonds, and recover the cost through tolls instead of waiting for the central government grants. The project that time costed roughly 1,630 crores and was funded through MSRDC bonds, loans from institutions like IDFC and banks, and toll securitization. MSRDC carried all traffic, construction, and financing risk on themselves, something which is almost unthinkable today. And by 2002, it became fully operational and quickly became cash positive. By 2005, with traffic stabilized, MSRDC decided to bring in a professional private operator, and the expressway was handed over to IRB infrastructure developers under a concession to operate and maintain.
Thank you, sir. Your explanation highlights the remarkable institutional courage and financial innovation behind this project. Sir, coming forward towards the engineering and development challenges, what were the most significant engineering, geological, and the project development challenges faced during construction, and how were they addressed?
Interesting. You see, all those of us who have been to the Western Ghats would realize that it is an extremely hostile terrain as far as construction of highways is concerned. One of the most difficult part of peninsular India is the stretch connecting Mumbai Pune in the Sahyadri ranges. Actually, it meant cutting through the unstable basalt rock and stabilizing the landslide prone slopes, countering heavy monsoons and fog and poor visibility. And to complicate the matters further, there were no Indian design codes for tunnels, ventilations, expressway safety, and high speed geometry. So MSRDC had to rely on global benchmarks, global consultants, and most of the time following European and Japanese standards. Then there was the challenge of right of way acquisition, that is, the land acquisition. This was the time when there were no land acquisition acts for linear projects like they are today, and it was a major challenge for the government to obtain land from the thousands of landowners, paying them compensation, resettlement, and there were a lot of political resistance at places which had to be managed tactfully and carefully. It will be interesting to note that there was no tunnel boring machine utilized for boring the 6 tunnels which are there on this expressway. And the decision by MSRDC not to use tunnel boring machines was driven by sound engineering, economic and project management logic rather than technological limitations. See, this expressway, as I said earlier, cuts through the Western Ghats, a geologically complex formation of hard basalt, fractured volcanic layers, weathered rock, and high groundwater tables. Such rapidly changing ground conditions are unsuitable for tunnel boring machines, which perform best in long tunnels with uniform geology. Any sudden change in rock type will cause cutter wear, machine stoppages, and high risk of the entire TBM getting stuck. And then these tunnels are short, mostly under 1.5 kilometers, and TBMs become economical only for very long tunnels, that is typically 5 to 10 kilometers long because of the enormous cost and time needed for import, assembly, and dismantling. In the late 1990s, you would recollect that India had virtually no TBM ecosystem, making mobilization risky and slow. So, using drill and controlled blast, that is the new Austrian tunneling method, NATM, worked very well, and they could open multiple faces, adapt to geology in real time, and meet its tight 2002 commissioning deadline. A decision that proved faster and more cost effective. On top of this, MSRDC was learning how to run a mega project in real time. Procurement, EPC contracts, risk allocation, and quality control were all being invented while the bulldozers were already working. That the expressway opened on time in 2002 remains one of the greatest project management feats in Indian infrastructure history.
Sir, those challenges truly underline the scale of engineering ambition and problem solving that went into building this expressway. Moving on to operational experience, sir. Over more than 2 decades of operation, what key operational and safety challenges has the expressway encountered and how they were shaped policy and practice?
That is an interesting question. See, the as they say, the proof of the pudding is in eating it. So the user experience, which is felt during the operations, it was nothing less than a revolution. But it also faced constant stress. The traffic far exceeded the forecasts. What was designed for about 40,000 vehicles per day soon began carrying over 70,000 on weekends. This caused congestion at toll plazas, accidents due to mixed traffic, and high pavement wear and tear. Yes, you heard it right when I said mixed traffic. See, there is this 9.8-kilometer ghat section of the Mumbai Pune Expressway, which was designed in the late 90s when there was no parallel expressway corridor through the Western Ghats. Therefore, traffic from the old NH4, now which is called NH48, was allowed to merge with the expressway for this 9.8 kilometers so that Pune bound and Mumbai bound vehicles could use the same mountain crossing, because building two separate ghat corridors would have been financially and environmentally viable at that time, even today. And also, this expressway became infamous for monsoon accidents and pileups, and very slow speed in ghat section for the bigger vehicles. This mixed traffic arrangement is managed efficiently now through the lane markings, speed controls, patrol vehicles, CCTV surveillance, and tunnel traffic management systems. Heavy vehicles are regulated during peak hours, and variable message signboards guide drivers through tunnels and sharp curves. However, some issues remain unresolved. The geometric design does not meet modern IRC expressway standards, which, as I said earlier, weren't there in the first place at the time of its design and opening. And that is more pronounced in terms of shoulder width, emergency bays, and curvature. Frequent accidents, congestion during holidays, and slow moving trucks continue to reduce safety and reliability in this section. These limitations persist because the terrain makes widening or building a parallel ghat alignment extremely difficult. The current operators have professionalized the operations, and the lane management is being practiced very efficiently. Patrol vehicles have very faster incident response time, and resurfacing is done quickly, and that turns the expressway into a benchmark for toll road operations in India. Despite all this, the road maintained near 100% uptime and strong cash flows for 2 decades, something which is very rare even globally.
It's insightful to see how long term operations have shaped both policy thinking and on ground practices. So, now moving ahead to asset monetization and TOT model. In 2019, the expressway was monetized under the toll operating transfer model. What did this transition signify, and how should we interpret its outcome?
Yes, by 2019, the expressway was mature, de risked, cash generating asset. Construction risk was gone, traffic was predictable, operation and maintenance systems were in place, and this is the time when MSRDC monetized it under the toll operate transfer model, awarding a long term tolling rights to a new private concessionaire in exchange for a payment of rupees 8,262 crores for the concession period of 15 years. Now, this money allowed Maharashtra to unlock thousands of crores immediately to reinvest in new highways and metros and shift operation maintenance risk to the private sector. Importantly, the public still owned the road, only the toll rights were leased. And you'll be happy to note that this transaction became one of India's first and most successful infrastructure monetization deals, proving that brownfield roads can be a valuable asset just like new ones. Today, the Mumbai Pune Expressway is a financial asset, not just a road, similar to tollways in Japan, France, and in Australia and other places.
That perspective puts 2019 monetization into clear context beyond just numbers and valuations. So, finally, what enduring lessons does the Mumbai Pune Expressway offer for India as it plans the next generation of expressways, transport, corridors, and mega infrastructure projects?
Thank you, Deepika ji, for asking this question. Now, as the lessons are concerned, the Mumbai Pune Expressway teaches 6 powerful lessons. First, the vision matters. MSRDC built an expressway when India didn't even know what one was. And today, we can see more confidently because the minister who was at the helm of affairs of MSRDC then has been steering India's expressway and highway journey for last more than 11 years. Yes, the same Honorable Mr. Nitin Gadkari. So his vision is serving the country very well. The second, governments can take construction risk when markets are not ready. Third, the toll roads work in India if the quality is high and time savings are real. Sometimes the toll plazas do delay even today. Fourth, assets should be monetized after risk is minimized and not before that. And then we can come to the codes and institutions that yes, even in the absence of codes and institutions, pioneers can still complete the work and they don't have to wait. And finally, the infrastructure creates wealth. This single road reshaped Pune's IT industry, Mumbai's logistics, and Maharashtra's economy. In many ways, the Mumbai Pune Expressway is India's first modern infrastructure asset, not just a highway, but a business, a policy experiment, and a development engine.
That's a powerful set of lessons as India looks ahead to its generations and infrastructure. Thank you, Dr. Bana, for sharing such a valuable insights and for giving us a deeper understanding of what truly it takes to build infrastructure that shapes a nation's future. From a daring state led gamble in 1990s to one of India's most valuable tall assets today, the Mumbai Pune Expressway is a story of engineering, courage, and financial imagination. If India is to build the next generation of expressways, railways, and corridors, this road remains the best classroom. To our listener, thank you for tuning in. If you found this episode insightful, do share it within your network and stay connected for more conversations that matter. This is Deepika signing off. Until next time, Namaste.
Namaste.